Hey, hello, I'm JulieJo. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're not new here, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at a video that I came across, and let's just say I was shocked, not in a bad way. I was shocked in a way of, damn, I'm sad I missed this when it happened, but now that I found it, it's time to chat about it. So I do have to give a little backstory so that you understand what's going on. On August 16th, I posted a video about Brittany Anderson that says Brittany is not okay. And then Brittany was sent that. It had over 24,000 views, which I think is pretty good for me. And Brittany was sent that video. Thank you for whoever did it, because I was able to create another video over Brittany being really upset about the video I created reacting to one of her trainings. That was that. I thought, well, apparently Miss Randy Anderson, who is in Prove It and who is sisters with Kelsey Ray, had made a video too about my video. I haven't watched it all. I watched the first 2 minutes and 19 seconds. So I don't think she actually says my name or Brittany's name, but she might. But I do know it's about that video, at least my guess is that, because of the timeline and because of what she says and what my video topic was about and what Brittany said and what I said about what Brittany said. That might sound confusing, but all in all, I missed this opportunity back in August and I'm here to do it today. Randy did not like my video. So here we are. We're gonna watch it together. If you want to support the channel for free, you can simply subscribe. If you like the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Let's get started.
It's the night that we're gonna fall in love. I don't care about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about your soft skin. Cause we're still sleeping in my head. I don't care about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about your soft skin. Cause we're still sleeping in my head.
First off, Aaron Bees says hi to Randy. Hey, Randy. That was from Aaron. Second, I just have a couple questions for you that I'd love to know the answer to. I doubt you'll answer them, but I'd love to know. First off, Randy, why is there a hemorrhage of people leaving your downline, especially leaders? I'd love to know. Could it be the way you treat people? I've heard through the grapevine about how terrible you treat people, Randy. Randy, you know that text messages don't just poof, go away, right? Another question I know Aaron and I would love to know, who did you decide to be under? When Jessie Lee died, people who are direct to Jessie Lee, including Randy, got to choose another leader to be under, and a lot of them have been hush-hush. So I'm curious, Randy, who did you choose? There are lots of questions I have for Randy, but I'll leave that there right now. My biggest one is, where are your leaders going, Randy? They're leaving you. What's going on? I have a feeling that I already know why. Her attitude, the way she treats people, but it could be wrong. It could be them, huh? Maybe they're just bitter, angry. Anyway, I think that we should go ahead and get started. So if you, by the way, know the answers to those questions or want to give a guess, feel free to put it down in the comments. The title of this video before I press play is called Work Ethic. I cut a portion of this video and it's just simply because her son was in it and she was just talking to him and not really saying anything. This is up on her Facebook, so if you want to go watch the whole thing, by all means. But I didn't want to put her child on social media the way that she does, especially with her adopted child. But you know what? I'm not their mother, so.
I got really fired up this morning because what was I doing this morning? I was doing something and I was watching some stories, and I watched a story of one of my friends who is also an incredible entrepreneur and a mama. And she was talking about how she got sent a link to a video yesterday, and it was of, listen, someone actually did this. Someone made a video bashing her and how she was running her business.
You sound surprised. I've made 507 videos so far. Well, I've made more, but they're currently being edited by my wonderful editor, Ava. You can find her link down below. I've made so many, but you say bashing. I think you don't understand what that word means, because bashing and criticizing are two different things. If I'm criticizing you, calling out your deception and your disgusting behavior, that's not bashing you. It's criticizing those things that you are doing that are not good. If that's bashing, then call me the bashing bitch. And frankly, Randy, I'm going to do the same thing here that I did with Brittany back then and that I've done for most of my videos. I'm going to call you out. You can call it bashing all you want, but I recommend you hear a little bit of it first, just so that maybe you can better yourself, because you definitely need it, especially the way you talk to people in your downline.
And I thought to myself, do we literally live in a world today where people have enough time to go and make a mean girl video about someone who is busting their bottom and doing stuff for their family to provide for their family? Yes, sadly, we do live in a world like that.
Randy, that doesn't even make sense. Do we live in a world where there's enough time for someone to create YouTube videos? You are currently creating a Facebook video talking about me bashing Britney. So obviously we have enough time in our day to do a video. That is just the oddest logic I've ever tried to deconstruct, because it's not logical. Do we live in a time where people can just sit there and create videos? Randy, what do you think you're currently doing? I have been, disgustingly consistent when it comes to posting at least 2 videos a week for 2 years. I might have taken 1 week off, maybe 2, but that's why I have over 500 videos in 2 years. And I used to even do 3 and sometimes 4.
But they were bashing her because of her hustle and what she did at the end of last month in order to reach her goals.
You mean when Brittany Anderson reached out to hundreds of people trying to get them to purchase products and join the business so that she could reach her goal? That's fucking weird and not a good way to run your business. Imagine you sitting there day 2 before it ends, right? Before the night ends, and you're reaching out to hundreds of people. That's so inauthentic and not a great way to run a business. People aren't going to take you seriously, especially when you're sitting here admitting it. You're so desperate that you're scraping everything you can from the bottom of the barrel. Even if people have told you already no, you're still going after them. And people don't want that. That's one of the biggest critiques of multi-level marketing. Stop reaching out to me when I tell you no. But they don't. That's actually part of their plan, is they follow up. So yeah, I thought it was weird.
To, provide for her family. And it really just, thanks children, it really just triggered, listen, let's not do that. It really just triggered me to think about my journey the last 10 years as an entrepreneur. And here's what I know. Harper, go out please and shut the door. It really just made me think and reflect on the last 10 years for myself as an entrepreneur.
My video, first off, I bet you watched it. It made you think and reflect. Good. That's what I want. I want you to have to reflect on yourself. Also, Brittany Anderson says she didn't watch the video, so I don't know why she thinks she knows what I said. And I have a feeling that you would also say you didn't watch the video. So how would you know I was bashing her? It's interesting to listen to them try to create a narrative out of something that they say they didn't even watch. Anyway, I'm glad I made you think, Randy.
But also in my life, as I feel like I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I started babysitting in middle school, and then after that I was in the restaurant industry in high school, and I feel like I've always just worked really hard and not been afraid of hard work and had incredible work ethic. I'm not afraid to work hard. Can anybody relate to that? Also,
I can. Let's talk about working hard, shall we? I'm not trying to say that I'm this great, awesome worker, but what I am trying to show you is that just because you're in an MLM and you're working MLM does not mean you work harder than other people. First, I got a bachelor's and then got a master's degree within 5 years. And then I went and started a full-time job. Then I went back to school, and there was a gap in there when I wasn't in MLM. Then I went back to school and I got my ultrasound degree, I guess you could say. Then I got 2 registries back to back. And then I'm currently getting my 3rd. And I also moved states, 1,000+ miles away, started another job at another hospital, and currently I've been doing YouTube for over 2 years, posting consistently no matter what's going on. Hard work isn't just coming from an MLM entrepreneur. Some might say I am an entrepreneur. Not only have I built a TikTok of almost 100,000 people, but I've also built a YouTube from the ground up of over 22,000 subscribers. And some might say, oh, that's small. Not to me, baby. So I'm tired of people in MLM acting like they are such hard and dedicated workers, when people like me who do have what one might call a 9-to-5 and also do other things aren't looked at as such a hard worker. We're just average. And I know people watching this are some of the hardest workers in the room. 1, thank you for being here and watching this. And 2, I'd love to hear your story below about the hard work you put in your life, because I know that so many of you have.
If you're watching this live, can you comment live below? And if you're watching the replay, can you comment replay below? Harper, I'm not going to tell you again. So I just I had no children up here when I decided to hit the live button. Who can relate to that? So anyway, I really got frustrated.
Randy, have you thought that maybe they wanted to hang out with you? Have you thought they want to spend time with you? Maybe just a thought. I'm not a mom, but I have been a kid before.
Because I was like, do we live in a society where working hard and hustling has been deemed really bad? Like, have we become that soft in our society that we think hard work is bad?
This is what I'm getting from her saying we're so soft because we're saying hard work is bad. Boundaries, are you not aware of what those are? Have you heard of burnout, desperation? Those things aren't pretty. They're hard and they're terrible to experience. I'm sure Brittany felt desperate. I'm sure it was so uncomfortable. I've felt desperate before in MLM. Call me soft, but I actually think that your mindset is the toxic one. The one where you are so desperate, Randy, that you are mean to your downline because they're not doing because they're not making you enough money. I don't know. I'd rather be soft.
Like, what kind of world is that? Are we trying to raise lazy people? Is that what's happening? Because it really got me thinking about, when I started in this industry 10 years ago and what that looked like for me. And honestly, I don't tell this story enough, and I'm going to tell it to you today. Because when I started 10 years ago, I started because I wanted a discount on my products. And because I wanted to earn enough extra income as a stay-at-home mom to be able to go and get a pedicure a few times a week. Because I did not want to ask my hardworking husband for money. Who can relate to that? It's already hard enough as a mom to spend money on yourself. But as a stay-at-home mom, I feel like it's even harder to ask for that. I mean, it is for me. Can anyone relate? Is it hard for you to spend money on yourself? So I did that. In my very first month, I literally earned $527, which was enough for what, like 5 pedicures then?
What MLM were you in? Also, you know what? There was another question that I forgot to ask. I'm going to use the protective language because, people talk. Why were you asked to leave Modere, allegedly? It's interesting when an MLM asks you to go bye-bye. I wonder why, allegedly.
I don't even know what a pedicure is now. I don't know. So that was kind of where my vision grew to what this could be for my family. And then obviously it grew to, okay, well, I want to take my kids to Disney World because I couldn't go as a child. I never went as a child, and I wanted my children to experience that. And so then it grew so much that I took them to Disney World 3 times in 1 year. Do not recommend. Do not recommend going that often. We do need to go. We do need to take Harper. But anyway, that's beside the point. And then, like, my purpose as an entrepreneur grew even more because I realized that I had this dream in my heart to adopt a little girl from China. I remember having this conversation with the adoption agency and them, them going through everything with me and them telling me, okay, well, on average, it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years. And I was mortified because you see, I had just seen a photo of a little girl. And I had gotten chills all over my entire body because I knew she was mine. And you're telling me it could take 2 years before I get her out of an orphanage? A little girl who in the photo, the back of her skull was flat because she had had 0 human interaction and was just left to lay flat in a crib for God knows how long every day.
Randy, my question is, what's your point? Why are you using this story? Do you like to use your daughter's story to manipulate people's emotions? Do you enjoy sitting here going, look at what she went through, look at what I went through trying to get her? You're choosing here to use this story to manipulate people's emotions into thinking that you are some wonderful human being. I know a lot of people, Randy, that disagree, but have let me know what type of human being you are. Yikes.
And you're telling me it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years? Why? My question is why? What can I do to go faster? And he said, well, honestly, normally it takes that long because of finances. Most families don't have $40,000 sitting in the bank, and they have to fundraise, and they have to save money, and they have to do all those things, and they have to space it out, and that's just how long it takes. And I said, so you're saying if finances weren't an issue, I could go faster? He said, well, I've never really seen it done any faster than 1 year. And in my head, I am that personality where tell me I can't do something and watch me. And so I heard challenge accepted, okay? And so I literally let that fuel me to make an impact and to build a business so that I could move really fast. Because if it was in my control how fast I could get a little girl out of an orphanage and into a home with a family, I was going to do whatever it took.
God bless you. You're such a great person. Let's talk about Prove It's income disclosure statement and about all that money she's talking about that you could make with it. The average annual income for a promoter in 2022 was $2,300, and the median annual income for all promoters in 2022 was $10.59. You line up everyone making money, you look right the middle. Who's in the middle? $10.59 a year is. And that doesn't include any product they purchase. Let's even go with the average of $2,300. Well, let's do 24 because it's $2,392. Well, let's say you spend $200 a month on Prove It products in general. That's $2,400 a year, not including taxes. So you're not profiting either, even with the average of everyone. This is a terrible way to make money. It's a really shitty opportunity, just like all MLMs are.
To move fast, right? So like, if you have a burning purpose inside of your body like that, and you are willing to do whatever it takes, right? Like most people are willing to do whatever it takes for their children, right? Like most of us would die for our children, but are you willing to do whatever it takes to provide a life that is extraordinary for your children? Well, for me and for my husband, the answer was yes, duh. And so we fueled ourselves to build a business and embrace being an entrepreneur, embrace an incredible work ethic, embrace hustling, because hustling is good, okay?
Randy, seems like I upset you a little bit with my video on Brittany. I'm not sorry, but I'm curious why.
Listen, not one person in the history of incredible businesses, not a Steve Jobs, not whatever the Bezos Amazon guy is, like none of those people got to where they are by not hustling.
They're billionaires, and billionaires are unethical. Listen, Taylor Swift's a billionaire now, and I have issues with it. I love Taylor Swift. I'm going to one of her concerts, and I spent way too much money on that ticket, but I'm going. I do love her, and I love her music, but they did it unethically. So your point is do it unethically. Just get the money. Maybe you shouldn't have used them as examples. Jeff Bezos and whoever else, trash.
None of those people got to where they are for being lazy and being soft, okay? All right, so.
She loves the word soft. Like being soft is a bad thing. Like almost like being soft equals being weak. I think that you're weak when instead of doing something the right way and putting in the right effort and the right work, the ethical work, I think you're weak if you have to do it the unethical way.
Listen, I hustled. We hustled. And from the day that I saw her photo and to the day that she was in my arms, 8.5 months. So my question for you is, and please answer me, would you say that getting that precious girl out of an orphanage in 8.5 months versus 1.5 to 2 years was worth work ethic and hustle?
I have a question for you, Randy. Do you talk to your children the way you talk to your downline? I hope that you don't. And no, I actually don't think that it was worth scamming a bunch of people. But that's my opinion.
Yes. The answer is not just yes. The answer is hell yes, absolutely yes, 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 yes. It is worth it. And so I don't know how many of you are sitting in this mentality where working hard and hustling is bad. But it's time that you shift your mindset, because I guarantee you, when you work hard and you let your purpose and your passion fuel you to work towards whatever you want, it is going to be worth it every single time.
I think that people like Randy are so caught up in, I don't know what the hell you want to call it, I'll let you name it, that they can't think logically. Like they can't think that I could be a hard worker. There's no way that I could be a hard worker because I'm against them. If you ask my husband, I am one of the most determined people that there are. My goal is to be an expert in pediatric sonography. And you know what? I'm going to do it. And the idea that I could even work hard at all, the idea that I'm not some lazy bum sitting around on a couch, which by the way doesn't make you a lazy bum, that's probably what they think. People like Randy, when someone is against her, that they're instantly a few things. When they're instantly lazy, they're instantly woke. I just have that vibe. Okay, I just get that vibe. Mean girl bullies and not worthy to be in her position. But the thing about that is it's not true. But for people like Randy, when it comes to that, they have to use cognitive dissonance to be like, there's no way this person could be as hardworking as I am. So they have to change the narrative of my video talking about hustling, saying that I'm lazy and that I refuse to believe in hustling as a good thing and working hard as a good thing, when that's not true. I'd love to know your thoughts on that. I've noticed that recently, like when I make a video and someone responds, it's the idea that I could ever possibly put in enough effort, or any amount of effort that could possibly be close to what they put in, is just not logical to them. I find it interesting.
Every single time. And so I don't know why we live in a society where that is frowned upon all of a sudden, but working hard and having a work ethic and hustling towards your goals is a good thing. It's a good thing. And anybody that tells you any different is not having a high level of success. Period.
Well, that's just not true. There are people who've been very successful who don't have to hustle their ass off, but just put in consistent work over time. I wouldn't say with YouTube, I'm hustling my ass off and like putting in every possible effort that I possibly could. I value my sanity. I could easily, and I have before, gotten so wrapped up in it. And it seems like when I do, I don't perform as well. It's because I'm overdoing it. I'm burning myself out. But when I take my time and I do what I need to do and realize I don't have to hustle to the bone, my videos are much better. Now, there are some times when I do have to hustle really hard and I have to do scripts and, do research for hours and whatnot, and that's fine, but I don't have to do that every time. But it seems like you think that people do. I think that's wrong, and I think it could hurt somebody, especially mentally and emotionally. This is just my opinion. Feel free to put your thoughts below.
Because I would not be where I am today without hard work ethic, and hustle. We would not have been able to adopt Harper. She would not have a personality the size of Texas. Listen, I have seen anybody who's been in the adoption world and they have seen the trauma that children go through. The longer they are not in a family, the longer they are in an orphanage, the more trauma they have, period.
Here's the deal with that though, Randy. 1, I believe adoption is important, absolutely. 2, what about all those kids who've come out recently in the past few years about the trauma they've received from their adopted families? You're not just saving somebody, you've got to also be a decent person and raise them. Families who adopt can cause just as much trauma as them not being adopted. There are different traumas, obviously. And I think that there's a fine line, as someone who's not adopted and who has not been adopted, that there's a fine line where I can't speak after a certain amount and it mean anything, because I have not experienced that. I just know what I've read and seen and heard from others. It's not like you saved them and you're an honorable person for saving them. Let me put it this way. Shitty people adopt as well.
Why wouldn't you let something like that fuel you? But then that just creates vision. Then I knew I want to live a life of so much more. I want to live a life where my children can see the world with their own 2 eyes and not through a television or a textbook. We just got back from living in Nicaragua for 3 years. Do you know the impact that has had on my children? Being immersed in another culture, building my dream house, designing it from the ground up on the Pacific Ocean. Like, I have a home where I can just go whenever I want at the drop of a hat. That is magical.
That's great. What does it have to do with this? And why are you talking about it as though MLM does that for people? The majority of people don't profit. This is a ridiculous example of something that has happened in your life off the backs of other people's work, really, when you think about it. So did you really earn that house? I'd like to think not, because MLM is unethical, and the way that people get to the top 1% is by using other people and scamming them and deceiving them into thinking one thing when it's not true. But that's just me. That's just my thought.
We have created a life of financial freedom where we can not only have that home, but now we can be in the States in a home and bounce back and forth.
You can be financially free and miserable. You can be financially free and a terrible person. This idea that there is just bliss and joy and happiness when you're financially free, sure, the stress of money is not so much, but that's not everything. You can be financially free and hate your life.
My husband's in Europe. He's been in Europe for over 2 weeks because one of his good friends was getting married, and he's just been gallivanting around, sightseeing and doing all the things, living a life, because he too, in his entrepreneurial profession, good heavens, of real estate investing, he can work from anywhere too. And so we've lived a life where we can do that. But you want to hear it come full circle? My oldest child is 17 years old. He has been around long enough to see what it was like for me to work as a restaurant manager and work 65, 70 hours a week, nights, holidays, and weekends, where he was getting a little bit of me every single day. And it was an exhausted bit of me. There were so many things that I missed because I was working insane hours like that and wasn't able to be present. Listen, I asked him a couple months ago, Christian, what do you want to do with your life? It's time to start thinking about that. And he thought about it and he goes, Mom, I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I know what I don't want. Because see, he's experienced what it's like to be in the rat race and have a parent that isn't present because they're gone working outside of the home 65, 70 hours a week. And then he's seen the last 10 years where we are both work from home parents who provide a life that is extraordinary.
That's from your privileged standpoint. You are privileged, by the way. Just a heads up. Most people don't have that opportunity. And let's be very clear again for like the 4th time that most people in MLMs won't even come close to that opportunity. In fact, a lot of them lose money. Again, your point is null and void because your idea behind this is to push a narrative of this is what MLM did for me. This is what hustling and MLM did for me. But that's not true for most people. So the narrative you're pushing is deceptive. And that is our point when we say you are deceptive. And in my opinion, that includes the idea of you're scamming them, ultimately, for your gain.
Where we are present. And he looked at me and he said, I know that I don't want to work in an office every day where someone else dictates my time. And I cried because that is what I have instilled in my children. They don't have to jump into that kind of life. They can build a life of freedom, financial freedom, and time freedom where they don't have to get stuck in that rat race where they are, every move they make is dictated by someone else. They are building someone else's legacy instead of building their own. And so
just because you're part of a company with a CEO doesn't mean you're not building your own legacy as well. That's such a weird take. I mean, I get the idea behind it. I think a lot of us can get the idea behind it, but the way they use it as though your job, my job as working in a hospital as ultrasound technician is not building a legacy of my own. Almost as if there's no way you can move up. Almost as if there's no way that even just simply living a comfortable life or a life where you don't need a bunch of money isn't still building a legacy. Odd that legacy is all about money to these people and status. It's pretty sad when you think about it, because what if they fail and they still think, well, my legacy's done. It's gone. I can't do anything about it. My legacy was building this MLM business and getting to the top, and I couldn't do it. I didn't do it. Money is not necessarily a legacy. My thought is the impact you made on this world. Let me know your thoughts.
I don't know how many people are sitting in their house watching this thinking, oh, well, it's too late for me. I could never do that. I could never make a change. And that is bull. Because you can. It's never too late to make a change. Never. You have to step in and you have to embrace. And you know, I told my team today, I said, you have to dig deep and you have to find out what that purpose is and you have to unpack it. Because remember, 10 years ago, it was a freaking pedicure that transpired and transpired and grew and grew, and my vision grew and my vision grew. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I was going to adopt a baby from China, I would have laughed. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would build an incredible 6-bedroom home on the Pacific Ocean, on the sand, in beautiful Nicaragua, I would have been like, what are you smoking? Okay? I would have never believed it. But when you step into this industry and you have incredible people pouring that vision into you, people who have paved the way before you, they know what to do. They know how to coach you. If they did it, you can do it. Because you see, 10 years ago, I was just a stay-at-home mom who had zero experience, who had less than 300 Facebook friends, and was looking for an extra $50 a month for a pedicure and a discount on product. And now I have impacted the lives of thousands of people. But most importantly, I've impacted the lives of 4 humans that call me mom.
It's interesting. She said she's impacted thousands of people. I got a message the other day from YouTube that said I'd hit 3 million views on my YouTube. First off, that's insane. Thank you. And then on TikTok, I know I have over 15 million views for sure. I'm curious, Rendy, would that mean that I've then impacted millions? First off, it's an honor. Even 1 view for me is an honor. 1 like, 1 whatever is an honor. And I can't really comprehend 3 million views, if I'm being honest. Would it blow Rendy's mind if I've actually impacted more people than she has?
Now they have been instilled this mindset that all they know is a life of extraordinary. Never will they be stuck in the mindset that they're not good enough or that they have to be stuck in a rat race building someone else's legacy. Because you see, they've seen 2 people that matter most to them, show them, and pave the way for them. What kind of way are you paving for your children? What kind of vision are you creating for your children? Are you creating a life and painting a life of struggle?
Oh, because we choose to paint a life of struggle. Is that right, Rendy? We choose to paint a life of struggle. It's a choice. That is such an ignorant statement that it makes me almost laugh at how baffled I am by how little logic she uses in her brain. You think people want to paint a life of struggle for their family? You think that's what they want? You know, I know part of what I'm painting for my future children, if I have any, is speak up for people who need help. Speak up for them. Humanity, empathy, that is all much more important than anything materialistic. I want to say, for those who feel like they're painting a life of struggle, I watched my mother struggle. Barely any money. Went through a terrible divorce with my dad. I mean, it was so hard to watch her. But you know what? Her struggle taught me so much and made me who I am today. So if you feel like you're painting a life of struggle for your kids, just know that that doesn't mean they're going to experience it too. I'm feeling like I'm being all sentimental in this and less funny, but it's really just because Rendy's being horrendously ignorant. And not only is it gross, but it could hurt someone. It could really take their worth and crush them on the inside. And that seems like, from what I've seen from her downline, that's something she's good at doing, is making you feel unworthy.
Are you sick of being that parent who has to constantly tell your children no because the finances just aren't there? We've all been there. But the question is, are you willing to do something about it? Or are you going to just sit there and be soft?
Rendy? Y'all, I'm about to lose it. I'm about to pop this lid and some of y'all are going to be like, wow, that was mean. It's about to happen. Ava's had to edit out some stuff already. I know. I need to listen to that again, and I know it's going to anger some of y'all, but I need to listen to it again. Y'all might see some of beginning YouTube JJ come out and call her like what I did with Jasmine. That sewer you call a mouth. Remember when I said that?
But the question is, are you willing to do something about it? Or are you going to just sit there and be soft?
And I think that, everybody, is a perfect example of how I know that she is a horrible person to her downline and why so many people are leaving. But what she's really showing us is who she really is as a person deep down and how she treats people.
Because I don't know about you, but if someone looked into my face and told me, if you're not willing to step up and have a work ethic and a hustle for your kids, you're basically looking them in their face and telling them that their preferred future isn't worth it.
You know, I want to say something about that, but I'm just going to let y'all comment on it.
And that is the spanking that I think a lot of people need right now.
Ma'am, please don't touch my ass. I will call the police, you weirdo.
Because we're living in a world that's getting way too soft and we need to step up.
And that's why your downline's crumbling, Rendy, because you're a jerk to everybody.
End of story. And so when I saw that video this morning,
It's about to be the end of your damn business. And by business, I mean your downline. I'm serious, y'all. You should see some of the shit that she said. Showing those things is going to then out them. I'd rather not do that to them.
that video this morning of my friend, people making fun of her because of her work ethic and her hustle, it lit a fire in me so much today. So much today. I have had some seriously bold conversations today because if you're not bold, you're not changing your life, and you're definitely not changing the life of your kids. Be extraordinary, and don't be afraid to work hard, and definitely don't be afraid to hustle for what you want in your life and in your kids' lives. And that is all. So if you got value from this,
God, thank God that's over. Oh, that was a lot to listen to. Rendy is just horrible at speaking. I hate that I have to cover these things because I know people watch and her words affect you. I know that happens, but please know that she is not there logically. My therapist always said, after our therapy sessions, because they would be so intense, do something today that's going to make you feel better. Read a book, take a hot bubble bath, do something that's going to bring you comfort. I might go take my anxiety medicine. I'm not going to lie. It's 11:30 in the morning and I'm like, this lady is driving me nuts. But I will say that people like Rendy doing these videos are one of the biggest reasons that I do these videos, because somebody's got to hold them accountable. Somebody's got to call out their BS. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you watching all the way through because I know it wasn't an easy watch. I hope that my points were helpful, especially if you were feeling kind of down listening to it. You are worthy, and if you are painting this struggle picture that she's talking about, doesn't mean it can't be beautiful. Thanks for being here again, like I've said 100 times. I do hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to support the channel for free. You can hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. That's also free. I'll see you next time. Don't join an MLM and don't take advice from people who are condescending a-holes. Bye.
Show you what I'm all about. Make up for what we lost. Tonight is the night that we're gonna fall in love. I don't care about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about yours.